have a list of 5 things that I really don't like about this GoPro Hero 7, and I'm going to share them with you right now. So stay tuned. There was absolutely a time and place where this gimbal mount was a necessity for mountain bikers and anybody in the action sports who really wanted that smooth-like footage out of their action camera, but I think the days of this gimbal are over, and now that the GoPro Hero 7 has that hyper smooth capability, we're really going to be looking into this camera and finding out things that we don't like about this setup as opposed to this one. Let's first get out of this mountain biking gear because it's like really hot in here. Whew, that is better. There are so many good things about this camera that a list of things that are bad about this camera is actually shorter and easier to tell you about. Let's get into the first one on the list, and that is the lock screen functionality on this camera. It's very tricky to work with, and when utilizing the lock screen option, unlocking the screen can be very difficult. This is especially true whenever you're using the camera in water, which is a lot of the reason why people would purchase it, or whenever you're actively sweating and you have wet hands or something. It makes it really difficult to unlock the screen. Even in regular usage, the lock function is difficult to disengage, and I found that restarting the camera is the easiest way to fix the problem. I might be utilizing this wrong, or there might be something wrong with my camera in particular, but let me know if you guys had the same problem with your GoPro Hero 7 because it's pretty annoying. I finally found out that the lock will disengage when swiping down from the middle of the screen. Not sure if I'm doing this properly or not. It's quite confusing because to access the screen lock, you must swipe from the top of the screen, and it makes swiping from the middle of the screen after that somewhat confusing whenever it says to unlock the screen. I'm hoping that in time, GoPro will update the firmware and make the screen lock a little bit easier to use and understand so that we don't face this problem when using the camera and you're trying to get that perfect shot, but the lock screen function is messing you up. Number 2 on the list, the memory card is in the battery compartment. The memory card can only be accessed when the camera is out of the housing, and switching out the cards or batteries is a process and it takes some practice to do it quickly. I wish the doors were accessible with the housing on, like the Hero Session for instance, because I have the Hero Session 5 and all you have to do is plug it in. There's no housing to it. It's really not a deal breaker, but expect to be fishing the camera out of the housing frequently. That makes it really difficult for me to make a dock for this camera in particular because I can't put it onto the charger without having to take it out of the housing. It's just a little thing, but it does take some time and efficiency out of using this camera. Let's get on to number 3. The third on the list might not be happening to you, but it is happening to me, and that's the freezing problem that has been talked about with the GoPro Hero 7. I myself find it freezing whenever I'm in photo mode or switching back and forth between the two. I had multiple instances of my camera freezing up when I chose different modes like photography or time-lapse, and it just went black and turned off. And the only way to get the camera unfrozen is to take the battery out. This is especially annoying when using the camera in the ocean or water, which I do a lot, because you can't do anything about it. Obviously, if you take the battery out while you're in the water, it's going to fry the camera. Number 4 on the list is the Wi-Fi staying connected without you knowing. If you notice that the battery is draining rapidly, even more than you're used to, then your Wi-Fi is probably still connected and you just don't know about it. If you like framing up your shot by connecting your camera to your phone, then this problem is probably going to happen to you. Even if you exit out of the GoPro phone app, the Wi-Fi is still going to remain connected on your camera itself. I noticed that if my GoPro Hero 7 had Wi-Fi enabled, my battery life was severely handicapped. It was probably less than half of the normal battery life, and I couldn't even get more than 1 or 2 hours out of it. And the 5th and last negative on the list is microphone placement. I'm currently holding the camera as naturally as possible, and my fingers are actually covering up the microphone hole. And even if you aren't covering up the microphone hole, your fingers will come in contact with the microphone and cause this really annoying sound that ruins your footage or even covers up all the audio in general. Now the audio on this camera is great if you are mounted to a tripod or a selfie stick, but sometimes you just find yourself holding the camera because it's just a grab and go situation. It's easier to get the shot with just the camera itself. The mic holes are placed in both of the spots where you would naturally want to hold the camera, and it means your fingers will be moving over them and covering the holes unless you don't hold it awkwardly. You know, there's not really a great way to hold this, especially when like using it as a selfie camera. Whenever you hold it with just 2 fingers like this, you're not going to feel very protected with the camera, so I could see a lot of people choosing to cradle the camera instead, like so. That's going to cause really bad audio. So those were the 5 things that I don't like about the GoPro Hero 7, and I'll go over them quickly before we close out this video. Number 1 was the touchscreen lock functionality. Number 2 was the memory card placement in the battery compartment. Number 3 was the camera freezing at random. Number 4 was the Wi-Fi staying connected. And number 5 was the microphone placement. I hope that what I covered either helped you out with your current GoPro Hero 7, or maybe you're thinking about purchasing one. Now you know a few things that are bad about the camera, and there are so many more good things about this camera that I couldn't even cover in one video. That's the 5 things that I really don't like about the GoPro Hero 7. I hope that you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Click the like button if it helped you out. Subscribe if you want more trail riding footage or mountain biking, because there's plenty of that here too. And I'll see you guys on the next adventure. Don't forget to go out there and create your own however you can. Spread some positivity. I'll see you later.